It's Hammer Time Part 2. What's going on, everybody? Jason with HOJ Forge, and I want to forge another hammer. Before we get to that, though, if you guys would do me a favor and check out my Patreon. I do expanded videos, extended videos, where I go through a lot more of my thought process as I'm forging things out, and as little as $1 a month will get you onto Patreon for me, and you can check out all those videos, and it helps me out because YouTube has taken the money they are paying and so... there's that, and then Forging It Forward. There will be a link in the description below. If you have a heart to see others get into this hobby, this craft, and find the joy and the fulfillment that it offers, this is a really great way for you to get involved and to help spread some knowledge, some tools, some general camaraderie. So I'll put a link in the description below for that. So people are asking me a lot, why hammers now, Jason? We're missing the blades. And I'll tell you, I'm really liking these hammers. They're a lot of fun to make. I keep saying almost as much fun as a blade, but in some ways the hammers are a lot more fun than forging the blades. I love knife making. I'll keep doing it. Don't worry about that. But right now, it's the hammer thing. It has been a ton of fun. I've gotten so much fulfillment just in these last few practice hammers I've done, and I'd really like to get to a point where I'm making a decent enough product where I can sell it. So I bought a big old hunk of 1045, 2-inch 1045, which gives me enough for about 6 hammers. And the first one I'm going to do up is going to be a gift for Heath at Shepherd's Forge. Heath has been one of my administrators on the Forging It Forward page, and has been a really good friend. He's sent me stuff. We've shared ideas. We've shared thoughts, and the man is just passionate about blacksmithing, and he doesn't have a proper blacksmithing hammer. I don't know if I'm the one to make it for him, but it's going to be an HOJ Forge original, and he can put it through its paces and things like that. But this is the final one. After this, if this one works out, if I can make a good hammer here, then we'll get some up for sale. So this big old hunk of 2-inch steel, if you're interested in making hammers, I bought it from Speedy Metals, which I don't think is the most affordable, but it was all right. It was 1045. It's 2 feet, enough for 6 hammers, because I'll be cutting it into 4-inch lengths. So I'll get 6 hammers out of it. That will wind up, somewhere between 3.5 pounds. And it cost me, I think, about $60 delivered to my door. So the cost of stock is a little high. And if I get into hammer making seriously, I'll have to source some cheaper material. But they did get it here within like 2 days of me ordering it, so that was really cool. And it's such a big hunk of steel, and all I have to cut it is my angle grinder. And so every time I'm throwing something in the fire to heat up, especially a big old billet like a hammer, I'm running over here and I'm cutting. And I mean, I'm going through these cutting discs like there's no tomorrow. And if I truly get into hammer making seriously, I'll have to invest in a bandsaw or something. That'll cut some metal, but for now that's what I'm doing, and let's go get this forge fired up and we'll start making a hammer. When I was at Dave McConnell's forge and we made this hammer, one of the things that Dave did was drilled some pilot holes for his punch to follow to keep that hammer eye straight through such a big hunk of a billet. I don't know that it's necessary, but I really like the concept, and I think I'm going to try that here. So I'm just going to mark out some pilot holes on here and go drill them out, and that way as the punch goes through, it's going to follow the path of least resistance, and that'll make sure that it's centered on both sides, which I'm picturing might be a little more difficult with a round billet than a square billet. Okay, so remember that top die from my guillotine tool from the review. I said I was going to weld something to the top of that. I found a piece. Remember those old tongs I made out of the track bar from my Jeep? Well, this is a piece of those tongs, because I know it's a hardenable steel, but I don't want to harden it. I just want something tougher. So I'm going to clean up this edge a little bit on the grinder, and then I'm going to weld that to the top, and we'll see if that holds up to the pounding. First things first, I need to resize these tongs for some 2-inch style. Whoa! Well, this is now officially the biggest billet of steel I have ever worked. It's 2-inch round, and I've never worked anything quite so big. So, interesting to get it through your head that yes, by hand you can do something like this. And that's what's been holding me back on the hammers until I saw James the County Line Forge do it, and I was like, you can't do that by hand. Well, I've been the guy that said, yes, you can do Damascus by hand, but why did I get it in my head you can't do hammers by hand? I don't know, but somehow I did. So it's really cool to be able to convince myself that yes, you can work a 2-inch billet, and it really isn't. You get it to the right heat, it really isn't that difficult. Okay, well the plug is definitely loose. I can see it, there's a color difference. You know, it's cooling down a lot faster than the rest of the billet, so I can see that it's loose. I think as I go to start drifting the hole, the drift should push it out the rest of the way. Yeah, I'm going to try that anyways. There's the plug. If I remember, Heath, I will put this in the box with the hammer, and then you can show everybody your hammer butt plug or whatever it's called. So I'm just waiting for this thing to heat up again. I'm thinking I might try working this a little hotter than I normally do. I mean, one, it's a huge billet, so the hotter you get it, the easier it's going to move. And there is no two. That's about the only one I got. Alright, so on this hammer I did the fullering tool, the top tool I made on each side, and that's what drew the cheeks out. Now I love that look, but there are a few guys doing that, James the County Line Forge being one of them, and I don't want to do a direct copy of someone I consider a friend. So I did this on the claw hammer, that peen texture, and I'm thinking I'm going to try it on this one. I might still do the stripes, but I've got that fullering tool now where I could do the top and bottom at the same time. So I think I'm going to try that, see how it goes. If I like the stripes, maybe I'll leave them. Maybe I'll do the peen texture between the stripes or something. I don't know. I'm still working on it. Just want it to look good when I'm done. That's too big. Put the whole thing in there. All right, never mind. Okay, here's a real good example of why you want to keep your tools in good repair. See how the top of that's been mushrooming out? I thought I could get like one more day out of it. I shouldn't have, because you know, the mushroom starts to crack. You can see the cracks in there on the edge. And just, I mean, I wasn't even hammering on it. It was just sitting there acting as the fulcrum for putting in the fullers. And that piece chipped right out. Now, thankfully I'm wearing my glasses. It didn't come anywhere close to my eye, but it could have. It came out of there with some velocity. And that's why you keep your tools in good repair. When the tops of your chisels and your punches and everything start mushrooming out like that, take them to the grinder, grind them down, round them off, and get them smooth again, which is what I should have done before I started. Okay, remember what I said earlier about this not being as hard as I thought it would? Oh, my arm's about to frickin' fall off. This is a big hunk of steel. Almost done though, but man, I gotta get in shape if I'm gonna be doing these things. James, I don't know how you do it, brother. Whew. So I'm doing a rounding hammer for Heath here, and I don't have a cupping tool. Don't have any plans to make a cupping tool, so I'm going to have to try to dress the faces the best I can at the anvil and then grind them. You know, this one I made at Dave's house, he didn't have a cupping tool either, and I just ground them all in. That took a while, so I'm going to try and shape some of it by hand here. Oh my gosh, I think that's all I got in me today as far as smithing goes. So I'll wait for this to cool down, and maybe I'll grind it today. I don't know. Well, what have I got left? I got to grind it, heat treat it, handle it, and then it's done. So yeah, I might get it done today. Who the heck knows? But there she is, fresh out of the forge. And boy, am I tired. That was... my arm is killing me. So here it is next morning, and billet's ready to grind. My arm is doing a lot better. I was actually a little worried about it last night, but it's calmed down. But after whining enough last night, my wife said that I could go ahead and build my power hammer. That's all it takes, guys. Whining, whimpering, and, you know, a tear or two rolling down your cheek, and Power hammer permission right there. All right, so the billet started out at 3.5 pounds forge scale loss. I lost almost exactly half a pound. It's like 3 pounds and just under an ounce. So by the time I get done grinding, it'll probably be like right at 3 pounds or just a hair under. Put the handle on, probably 3 pounds and, you know, a couple of ounces. So I think just about the perfect weight. A 3-pound rounding hammer, I think is just about the perfect weight for a rounding hammer. So anyways, I'm going to get to grinding here and we'll keep going. Alright, so there she is, ready for the heat treat. Rounding side, flat side. Yeah, I hope I rounded that off enough. I think so. So there we go. Let's go heat treat it and throw a handle on it. And Heath, your hammer will be ready. I'm going to let that normalize a couple of times, and while I'm heating and cooling that, I'm going to go ahead and start getting the handle ready. I still got some hickory left, and we'll do the handle onto that. Okay, it was 10:45, so a water quench. Ha! Nice. Nice. Alright, so I'm going to go grind the faces real quick, just down to bare metal, and then I'm going to heat up one of my lousy drifts and stick it in there, and we'll let that temper it. But I need to get down to bare metal here so I can see the temper colors. Oh, I'm excited. It's not often that I call a hammer sexy, but damn. I'll tell you what, Heath, you got a gorgeous hammer coming. I hope it performs as well as it looks. Man, I'm gonna have to make another one. I love the way this came out, man. This is a dead sexy hammer. Yeah, look at that. It is. It's gonna do you well, my friend, and I want you to use it. I want you to abuse it, and I want you to tell me how it holds up, so that I can know, man. So this is it. Yes, hammers will be for sale from this point forward. Look at that! Look at that! It's gorgeous. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Oh, my mustache is falling. That's what happens, man. Heat from the forge. I will talk to you guys later. I'm speechless. The first hammer I've ever made that I actually really like. This is a winner. All right, I'm ready to make some more. I'll catch you guys on the next video. See ya!